Okay, I just finished the Duke's Ocean Fest 2010 race. It was actually a pretty fun race, and the conditions were better than I thought. We got a good tide kind of toward the end. And I wanted to compare the difference between the Bullet on the left, which is 17 feet 4 inches, and the F-16 version 2 on the right, which is 16 feet. And kind of the differences that I saw, especially from training on both of them over the last few weeks. I've had maybe only about 5 or so downwind runs on the Bullet, maybe 6, and I've had at least 20 to 30, could be even more, on the F-16. So I'm pretty familiar on how the F-16 already rides, and I'm just starting to get familiar with the Bullet. But this is what I notice. If the winds are 15 miles per hour or even 20 miles per hour and under, this Bullet is a faster board, kind of like the 18. It just kind of holds its average speed with a little bit less effort once you get it going. But on the other hand, when the winds pick up over 15 miles per hour, especially if it's 20 or over 20, troughs get closer together, then the F-16 is the one that really comes alive. And actually, when the winds are blowing really well, you know, over 20 miles per hour, I prefer the F-16 because it's just more fun. You step right back here on the tail. I mean, you literally step, you know, back in this area right here, and you surf it. And it's like surfing a board. It's got these sharp rails on the bottom that allow you to kind of, you know, get that nice turn. Whereas on the Bullet, it's a little bit trickier because you don't have real sharp edges. It's kind of more rounded out. Also, the 16 seems to fit in closer trough better than the Bullet does, and that's probably due to the amount of rocker that we have inside of it. If you look at it on the nose, I don't know if you can see it, but the F-16 has that nose that's kind of flipped up much more. I think if you put it into the water, you'll see it even more. Bullet has quite a bit less rocker, especially here in the nose. But this extra bit in the nose right here on the 16 really makes it sit in the trough nicely. I used to ride the F-14 quite a bit, and I liked it because it sat in the trough nicely. But you know, I like the volume at my weight of the F-16 version 2 and that new nose, because it sits in the trough just as well as the 14 does. And surprisingly, it's easy to get up to speed. Now, this new version 2 F-16, I believe, is around 28 or so pounds, and the Bullet on the left is around, I think, 32 pounds or so. So what I notice is that the Bullet, it takes a bit more effort to get it up to speed, especially from a dead start. Maybe, I don't know, 15-20% more effort, more grunt to make it move than the 16. However, once you get the thing moving, it tends to keep moving for a longer period of time. You have that following glide that seems to be much better on the Bullet than it is on the F-16. Now, if you bring the 18 full displacement bottom into the mix, I think that the Bullet's kind of in the middle between the 16 and the 18. But when you have some wind, this Bullet is really nice. I haven't tried it in really light winds because on the really light wind days I've been either doing something else or taking the canoe. But I'm finding that if it's a race type situation and the wind is under 20 miles per hour, this Bullet may be the way to go. Whereas if the wind is over 20 miles per hour, the F-16 seems to be the way to go. But I guess we'll get feedback from people as we post this up, and people can let us know what they think. All right, let's compare the bottom of the Bullet, which is on the left, and the F-16 version 2, which is on the right. Tail, if you look at it, a little bit different. You got this kind of chisel tail on this one, on the Bullet, and then you have that pin on the F-16. Mark said not too much difference in the tail, it's just kind of cosmetic. But if you look at the Bullet's bottom, it looks pretty flat. The F-16 has that pretty deep double concave and much sharper rails. Like if you look at the rails on the bottom of it, you can tell that on the F-16 it's much sharper than on the bullet over here. And then you can see from, I don't know if you can see from this angle, but the rocker line on the, especially the nose portion of the F-16 is quite a bit more than on the bullet.